Hey there, welcome to Color and Scribbles. My name is Rachel, and today I have a speed painting going on in the background. This is a mermaid character that I did for the Mermaid Challenge. And I will also be talking about 5 time management tips I have for artists. Now, all of these are things that I have found to be personally useful in the past, and I think that they are general enough that they can apply to pretty much all artists, whether you're just starting to learn how to do art, or if you're already somebody who's, selling your own work and making that money. So, if you feel like your time management has just been getting away from you and you're not being as productive as you would like to be, or if you're just, not enjoying yourself as much as you would like to be with your art, stick around and hopefully one of these tips will be helpful for you. Alrighty, so my first tip is to try tracking how you're actually spending your time during the day, not just how you think you're spending your time. And this is a really good place to start if you've never tried any time management before, because it lets you see what your base is and what you're starting with. There's a lot of different activities that are very easy to just kind of lose time in, and if you're forcing yourself to stop and engage and stop and think about how much time you're actually spending doing them, even that can be enough to kind of kickstart you into using your time more effectively. That's been the case for me. Every time I start to feel like I'm not using my time effectively, I just spend a couple days tracking how I'm spending my time, and that alone is usually enough for me to kind of get myself in gear and start using my time more wisely. So if you're in a place where you feel like your time is just kind of slipping through your fingers, or if you feel like you're not able to be productive because there just aren't enough hours in the day, this can be a really good place to help you start getting organized and utilizing the time that you do have more effectively. Another way that tracking can be useful is to actually track how long it takes you to complete things. This is really important when you are going into the job market or when you're a young professional, because if you're an artist, most often you're going to be charging based on your time, based on how long it takes to complete something. So it's really important for you to have good estimates and for you to be able to tell people, how long you think it'll take you to complete something based on how long other things have actually taken you to complete. It's a human error to just naturally assume that things won't take as long to do as they end up taking. So it's important to, actually measure it. Don't just guess, don't just assume how long it took you, actually measure how long it takes you. This is a mistake that I have made numerous times. I think that something will take a lot less time, and I think that even when I think I'm being generous about the time taken, it still usually takes me longer than I expect. So try to be conscious of that. As early as you can. In college, see how long things are taking you, and then once you're a professional, definitely try to be aware of how long things are taking you to do. So, tip number 2 for managing your time better as an artist is to try to build a habit out of your art. Whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish, whether you're just learning art or if you're trying to build up a really good portfolio, relying on habit to get it done is going to be much more effective than just relying on spurts of inspiration. Anything that you do on a daily basis, anything that is habit-based, is going to come a lot more naturally and with a lot less resistance than something that you're just kind of waiting on inspiration to do. So if you can, definitely try to find time every day or every other day if you don't have time on a daily basis. Just try to find a regular amount of time to do art and to fit it into your schedule. Alrighty, so tip number 3 is to try to balance your time between educational projects and fun projects. This is important because if you are spending all of your time just on fun projects, you're probably not going to be challenging yourself enough, because usually the things that are fun are the things that come naturally and easily to you. And if you spend all of your time just grinding through educational projects that you hate, you're going to get burned out. So it's important to try to find a balance between those two and split your time wisely between them. One good way to do this is to make a project for yourself that is fun, about a topic and an idea that you enjoy, but that is challenging enough that you'll have to spend some time studying in order to create that piece. And this is a tip that does mostly apply to people who are still in the early stages of learning art, but I think it's an important thing for more professional aged people to keep in mind as well. We got into this because it's fun, and it's important to keep that fun and keep doing projects that you really enjoy. Alrighty, so tip number 4 is super important for artists, and it is the concept of finished, not perfect. Basically, wherever you are in your art journey, you have to be able to accept that the piece that you're working on right now is never going to be entirely perfect, and you have to put your pencil down and call it finished at some point within a reasonable amount of time. You could spend probably forever just tweaking and nitpicking little details of a piece of work, but if you do that, eventually you'll get to a point where you're not learning anything from it anymore. And at that point, it becomes detrimental to your education and to your learning, and it becomes a waste of time essentially to keep pouring your work into it. It will be much more beneficial for you to like make a point at which that piece is finished, put it down, and move on to the next one. A lot of artists are perfectionists, so this can be a pretty hard tip to kind of get used to and start applying to your work. But it's really important to figure out what it is you're trying to get out of a piece and to be able to call that piece finished once you've gotten that value out of it. Don't let a piece drag on to the point where it's just wasting your time and is no longer useful to you. Be able to cut it off when it needs to be done and move on to the next thing so you can continue learning and continue growing. Alrighty, last tip. Tip number 5 is to know your limits and try not to overwork yourself. It can be really easy to get caught up in your idea of something, and then when it comes to the actual workload involved, it's just unreasonable. It's not something that you can accomplish in the given amount of time, or it's too many projects at once. So try to keep your vision, within reality. Like, make sure that the things that you want to accomplish, you can actually accomplish in the given amount of time. Now, that's not to say that you shouldn't be pushing yourself creatively. Definitely do that. Like, definitely push yourself in terms of what you're making, but make sure that you can actually get it completed without killing yourself. Like, you don't want to be stressed out and overworked all the time. So if that means just, taking breaks regularly, or if that means saying no to that new project, do what you've got to do. You want to make sure that you're healthy and happy above all else. So definitely do the best work that you can do on whatever project you're working on, but also make sure that the perimeters that you're giving yourself for that project are within reason and that it's something that you think you'll be able to accomplish and also learn from, ideally. Alrighty, so those are my 5 time management tips for artists. Those are the 5 things that I have found to be most useful as I am growing as an artist, and I hope that there was something in there that was useful for you. If you have any other time management tips that you find to be useful, let me know in the comments, or if there's anything else that you would like to see me talk about, also let me know below. If you enjoyed this content, consider subscribing, giving it a thumbs up, and as always, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a great rest of your week. See you next time.